All right. Hello, everyone. This is Nathan Hinckley here. Looks like we've got a couple people on. I know it's a little bit early, but we're getting snow out here today, so we're pretty much shut down. I just got a message from someone from Atlanta that says they're pretty much shut down, so they're just chilling by the fireplace. So I thought we might be able to get on here and talk about I think a pretty interesting topic, as well as look at a video from the church that surprisingly, the way I understand it, only lasted about 24 hours before they took it down. But you know how those things go. Once it's on the internet, it's always there. So I wanted to talk about this, and we'll maybe try to be like Coach and pull a little bit of a hate watch, because there's actually quite a bit of the video that the church produced that I do hate. So we'll see what happens. I want to invite you guys to co-host with me in the comments. Matter of fact, I will even post the link here in the comments. This is going to be just really, no pressure. If anybody wants to join in and pipe up and give your opinion, but I'll be checking the comments as well. So, first of all, let me just share this screen here. Well, of course, we have my little thumbnail. That's supposed to be me. Hopefully my teeth ain't that bad. They're not the best, but that's pretty rough. But anyways, let me share. If you go on Reddit, and I'll admit, I don't know a ton about Reddit, but I noticed this little thread: did anyone's parents withhold an inheritance because they left the church? And as you scroll down through there, you see all kinds of comments. You know, lucky for me, my parents have nothing to give. I knew that, if they, let's see, I saw where people were saying after giving 10% to the church, they didn't have anything left. I feel like my dad's going to do this with me. So just tons and tons of comments about this. So I just got kind of thinking, is this something that the church encourages? And I don't want to use any names, but I know a individual who is quite well off, has worked hard his whole life, is retired now, and has some children in the church and some out. And I'll just say that I heard, first of all, I love this guy. He's an awesome guy, the whole family. But I was told that he had no intention of leaving anything to his kids, that he was going to leave it all to the church. And I know his kids. I know that, they're not the most well off. They could certainly use a hand, I'm sure, in some financial situations. And so anyways, this whole topic is just really strange when we start thinking about the implications of it. All right, so I saw this post on Facebook, and it's anonymous, so I don't have to block out any names. But this is kind of a broader topic. So this person said, "I can't with this effing church. My mom, 84, had to take a home equity line of credit out to replace her aging HVAC system. I helped her through the process, and she wanted an additional $10,000 for what I figured is a good idea in case another emergency repair comes up. Yesterday, she asked me to help her transfer $5,000 from her home equity to her checking. She's been a victim of fraud, so I asked why she needs that done, to which she replied, personal reasons. It was around Christmas, so I pushed and asked if it was for her grandkids who were visiting, thinking that she might be giving it for a college fund or something. She finally relented and told me that it's to cover a check that she wrote to the corporation of the presiding bishopric of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I told her it's a horrible idea to pay interest on a donation to a $300 billion corporation, and that Jesus would throw a fit over taking on debt to give to the church and refuse to assist her. Welp, just went into the accounts to make sure everything was settled up with the recent HVAC work, and saw that she went to the branch and did it anyways, and then put a screenshot. Okay, so what's my point here? My point is that when members, or when anyone gets a little bit older, they may not be the most with it, right? And this lady, you know, she even though she was taking out a loan for her HVAC, through her interviews with the bishop or whatever, you know, she thought that it looked like to me that she owed interest or something. But at any rate, older people and finances. So that's kind of part of this topic. But there's actually a broader topic that I'll talk about at the end. Hello to the comments. I see Dave in there. Again, I want you guys to co-host this with me, so I'm going to be checking the comments. So, all right. Hey, Songs. Oh, you got some snow in Virginia. Yep, it's coming down out there. I know that a few inches isn't much, but in this part of the country, it'll shut things down. Oh, hey, Grant. I don't think I've saw that name pop in here very often, so appreciate you visiting. All right, so this word here, I'll admit it, I'm not super, like philanthropy. I had to even make sure I was pronouncing it right. I mean, I've heard it, but so this is the desire to promote the welfare of others expressed especially by the generous donation of money to good causes. All right, yeah, we've been out of school all week too, Songs. So, we got sunny in Nevada. So, all right. So, it's no surprise that the church has a whole philanthropy site to their website. Now, if you've not been there, you might want to go. There's lots of great ideas. Hey, thanks for joining us up in Idaho. I bet you guys have some snow, don't you? So if you go to this site, all kinds of great ideas, how to get started, how to give, what's my giving plan? You have a gift calculator, so you can just whip it up real quick on, how much you could afford to give. All of this handy dandy bullshit that you can access if you want to give your money. Now, it's not just money. Let's see. You can do monthly donations. You can mail a check. You can register a will or a trust. You can give real estate. All of these different places you can give to. If you actually go into the site, let me see if I can do that real quick. If you actually go to the site, okay, here's the site. I was even seeing down here that you can give patents. If you have a patent on something, you can give. Where was all that crap out? Let me see. Donor. Okay. Oh, more cartoons. Yeah, the church is really big on cartoons. Yeah, I don't remember where it was at, but it was saying you could give patents, you could give freaking horse. I mean, all kinds of ways you can give to the church. I'm glad I didn't, when I was bishop, I'm glad I didn't have anybody, bring me a patent or or freaking livestock up in there. But apparently you can give real estate, you can give all kinds of things to the church. Okay, so one thing that is very interesting, when you do go to the church website under this philanthropies portion, there are hundreds of videos just like this. And again, I could probably scroll down through them, but I want to show you a video and I want to hate watch it. And I was trying to see if it's on the church website. And I scrolled and scrolled and scrolled, and it seems like there's hundreds of these videos. Closer look here. And it's all about making someone feel really good about leaving, the church, their money, and all this. And so this particular video, I never saw on there. And as I did a little bit of research, I am told, so this is the video, it's Journey to Become. And I am told that this video only lasted 24 hours on the church website before it was taken down. Checking the comments here. All right, so yeah, why should we give anything to $1 billion when they have $250 billion in the bank? Right. And I want to just, in this video, so basically I'm going to try to show it, try to watch it together. If you guys have something to say, just say stop in the comments or join me in the studio. We're going to talk about it, but there is a lot of manipulative, ridiculous ideas in this video. In a nutshell, and we'll get to it, but in a nutshell, it basically says, I'm not leaving crap to my kids if they don't do exactly what I want them to do. But we're going to get to that. Okay. So if I go ahead and present my screen, and let me share this video. Hopefully it doesn't have any trouble playing. But once again, you can find it if you just search either Journey to Become, or if you search, I was finding it by searching, what was it? Mormon encouraged to not give inheritance to wayward kids or something like that. Okay. So let me just back this up. The first minute is just B-roll, just kind of setting the nice little scene, and it's this whole family. What were they called? The Moyers or more something family. Doesn't matter. And then Dad says, "You guys go along, and I'll join you in just a second." Now he's going to talk to the camera. So it's a 15-minute video. We're going to stop it. We're going to stop it as we go. Dave says, "I doubt I'm leaving anything to my son. Don't want him to be lazy." All right. So yeah, Dave, that kind of has a lot to do with what we're gonna hear here. So, all right. So Dad's going to adjust the camera. They've walked in. It's a nice hike, and let's see what we have here. Hopefully you guys can hear this. Let me hit play.
I'll catch up in just a minute.
Okay.
All right.
I used to believe that life was all about destinations. I set a goal once to graduate from college. I worked hard, studied hard, and I graduated. After graduation, I remember speaking with my father about how empty I felt that day. There wasn't the great emotion, the great joy that I thought was going to come with reaching my goal. And he said, "Son, the joy is in the journey." And the greatest journey that I am on and will ever take is the journey I take with my family. I love to be with my family. I like every single day. I do look forward to fishing. I look forward to graduations. I look forward to baseball games. But I enjoy every single day. We've made a lot of mistakes. We've had some bumps and bruises. But in the end, I think it's given me a little bit of insight into how perfect our Heavenly Father's plan really is. I don't profess to know everything, but I do think that we've learned some things that may help.
Okay, so he's going to say, well, we've learned some things and I'm going to try to help you out. All right, nothing too bad so far. However, he talks about how much he loves his family. And I don't doubt that. Seems like a super nice guy. But what we're going to find out is, to me, this love has strings attached. And what we're going to hear in just a second is some mistakes they made with their daughter. And they said, oh, with our sons, we're not going to make those mistakes. And, I can only imagine some of the scenarios that may have played out with the daughter. And they sort of hint at a little bit of that. But at any rate, he does mention how much he loves his family, how much there's nothing he would rather do than be with his family. But we're going to find out that there are strings attached. And I know that I can relate to that. Let's keep going.
Help you. If you'd like to come along, we would love to share some of those lessons that we have learned along the way.
All right, now the wife's going to talk.
When my daughter started making decisions that were not in her best interest.
Stop. When my daughter started making decisions that were not in her best interests. Now, who gets to decide that? I have a problem with that. Now, I don't know the details. Maybe she was, harming herself physically or something. But I don't think that's it. I think that it's when my daughter started doing things that we have taught her she should not do, okay? And she's going to expound just a little bit, but here we go.
Not the best for her. And also, I was looking at that thinking, what have I done? What did I do? Because I taught her to work. I gave her responsibilities as a child and as she was growing up in my home. And I worked very hard, and my husband worked. We were very frugal. We tried really hard to instill in them by showing them by example, because I felt like I've been taught that you teach by example.
You were brokenhearted.
Yeah, I was distraught. I couldn't figure out why she would be doing things totally different than what I had raised her. And I realized then that I had shown her what to do, but I didn't engage her in what to do and how.
Okay. So this lady is beside herself. She cannot imagine why their daughter was not doing things exactly like she did them or she wanted to do them. And they determined that, oh, well, we didn't engage her enough or whatever, So, she was brokenhearted. Do I doubt she was brokenhearted? No, I don't doubt it. All right, Daisy May, let's see. I just got here, but based on this title, this is a painful topic for me. I'm sorry, Daisy May. My parents did well, but are leaving all. Okay, let me share that. Did well, but are leaving all to the church while I have siblings who could really use an uplift. I'm sorry to hear that. Unfortunately, videos like the one we're watching, and welcome, encourages exactly what you just talked about, what you just mentioned. So far we have, this family and mom's saying, yeah, we really screwed up with our daughter. And then basically dad's going to say, but we're going to really do a lot better with the boys.
How to live her life. And so we've tried to do things differently, and we were grateful that we have a second chance with the younger children to readjust and do things in a better way.
Well, and the children, if we tell them, they forget. If we show them, they understand. But
if we tell them, they forget, but if we show them, they understand. How about the other option, that if you tell them and they decide that's either wrong or that's not for me? And we're going to come back to that point later on about maybe I have a different path. than what you want for me.
When we
All right, so now they're going to do this whole stage thing. It's totally staged. They're going to help this person with the car. I guess we'll watch it. It's kind of pointless, but here we go.
engage them, they become.
Oh, they become. They both said it at the same time.
How are you today?
Oh, not so good. My car just stopped.
What happened?
It just kind of puttered to a stop. And
Stop for a second. Did you notice he walks up to a perfect stranger and puts his arm on her shoulder? It's like, that's not appropriate. First of all, this is staged. That's probably his friggin' sister. But that's not appropriate. You know, personal space, you know. But let's keep going.
We have engaged our children. We've tried to engage them by letting them experience firsthand how it feels inside when you serve others, when you help lift another person that maybe can't ever repay you.
Well, helping somebody that can't repay you, I think that's really good for not only them, but for your self-esteem. It makes you feel really good inside knowing, yeah, I did something good today.
Our idea and our values that we're trying to pass down to our children is that they can make a difference in the world, and that they're significant. Every act that they do does affect other people around them, and as long as they're doing a positive thing and going in a positive direction, then they will be happier, and the people around them will be blessed from their actions.
You know, we have an opportunity to be humanitarians every day in our life. It doesn't take a lot of money. You don't have to go to exotic places, and we've been to a lot of fun places, and it is fun to go, but humanitarian work begins at home.
Have the rest of a great day.
All right, I got to stop it right here real quick. So they've just pushed her to safety. He's going to shake her hand, but he's got to get one more hug in. Here we go.
thank you so much.
Yep.
I really appreciate all of your help.
The definition of a humanitarian
All right, I know, I'm nitpicking. This is going to get better, I promise. Just stay with me.
is someone who wants to lift someone else up and assist them. And we can do that every day in our homes and in our schools.
As a family, usually we like to go places to help people. When me and my family work together, we have all of us out there, and it just kind of helps to teach us what we're supposed to do and not just watch, we actually participate. I'll get down and dirty if I have to. I love to get with people, and I think it's great that my parents are giving me this experience.
I can give my kids money, I can give my kids cars, I can give my kids real estate. But I cannot give my kids a desire to be honest, a good work ethic, the ability and the desire to serve. And so, if you look at our Heavenly Father's plan, He desires to give each of His children all that He has, but to qualify for those blessings, we have to become what He has become. Now, I don't pretend.
Okay, you guys know I have to stop it right there. Okay, so he says, I can give my kids money and cars and real estate. And our Heavenly Father wants to give us all He has, but we have to qualify for it. And that is the word that has been popping up a lot in Mormondom as of late. I've pointed out a couple times now how the new Girl Scout motto, you know, we are daughters of our Heavenly Father who loves us, and we love Him, and we will stand as witnesses, or whatever, and all the other stuff. And then it says, and that as we qualify for His love, you know, so you're only going to get what God has and His love, even His love, if you qualify for it. So this is starting to become a little problematic. Let's keep going. Yeah, Song says, Always helping people with the camera on for evidence. Not weird at all, right? All right, let's keep going.
Tend to be like my Heavenly Father, but for my children, for them to inherit my estate, they will need to become what I am trying to become.
All right, so he just said the catch line right there. For my children to inherit what I have, basically, they have to become what did he say? What I have become, or what I want them to become. That sentence is a problem. Why do they have to become what you want them to become in order for you to help them? He's going to talk more about this.
You know, it's funny, sometimes we think that our kids learn by osmosis. We think that because they're in the same room with us or under the same roof, that they're going to think like we think and believe like we believe. And then our kids do something totally...
I can't help but notice that these kids are miserable. Look at it. I mean, they're like, another Saturday, we got to go build stuff. All right, keep going, dude.
contrary to what we believe, and we find out that we are sadly mistaken. You know, it's interesting. You think about success for your children. You think about piano lessons and football and college education and good grades. And, you know, when it all comes down to it, I think about the success of my kids. And if I ran into somebody 30 years from today and they say to me, "How are your kids doing?" If my son has a temple recommend and is worthy Melchizedek priesthood holder, I will say my son is doing fantastic.
That's all he cares about. If I run into somebody down the road and they said, "Oh, hey, how's your kids doing?" If they have a temple recommend and whatever else he said, then I will say he's doing fantastic. That's it. He'll finish that sentence.
If, on the other hand, my children are wealthy beyond measure and famous, but they're not worthy of a temple recommend, I will say my children are struggling.
I don't know. What else can I say about that? That is the entire way that he judges how his kids are, who they are, their value, is whether they have a temple recommend and are doing all the Mormon bullshit. I'm sorry, Songs. Song says my poor mom has 5 not fantastic daughters. All right, so that is kind of the point of this whole thing. We're going to go ahead and finish it, but that is kind of the whole point.
We had some friends that had sold part of their business and came into quite a large sum of money quickly. And they bought, you know, some nice cars and an airplane and things. And they kind of got caught up in this image. And
oh, my snow's messing with my internet or something. We'll try it again. So we have some friends that have bought some cars and some airplanes. I don't know. I don't have any. Well, let's see. I do have one friend that has an airplane, but he's not Mormon. Let's see what the comments are saying while that's loading. I have limited life for my kids too. That isn't the way it's done. Yeah. So this person says it's so sad that their love is conditional. That's what we're seeing. If they do this, you know, as long as they do exactly what I want them to do, then I love them. All right, let's try hit and play one more time. Maybe it'll go.
the worldliness. And just a few short years, within 2 years, their world has crumbled. And they've been divorced, and it's a whole different picture.
We don't judge other people, but I just worry that if that happened to my children, I would hate for that same thing to happen to them. Money can be a great benefit to the world, but it can also destroy eternal salvation.
Yeah. So I don't know why my internet's wigging out, but just talking about how money can destroy you. Let's see if we can go one more time. So Dave says, hot take, but I don't know if love can be other than unconditional. If love can ever be unconditional. Oh, I see what you're saying, Dave. You're saying love, I don't know if love can ever be unconditional. Okay. Song says, well, why are they just driving by the people on the road, right? All right, let's see if we can finish this up.
At one point in our life, two of our children were making some mistakes, and they were a little bit contrary to what we believe as a family. And I thought, wow, what happens if somebody receives a pile of money who's not living gospel principles? And I don't know about you, but I've never heard anybody say, wow, I inherited a bunch of money, and so I decided to go back to church and turn my life around. I used to worry if I died today, what would happen to my kids? And how would money or prosperity affect their choices and their ambitions and their life's goals? And that caused me a lot of stress. In fact, at one point I was ready to sign over everything I had to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints rather than risk having them have to make choices that would be difficult for them with a large sum of money. And some friends who work with a lot of donors in the church mentioned, well, what are your goals as a family? And I said, my goal is to raise worthy Melchizedek priesthood holders. And this kind gentleman, Ron Black, said, what if you can do both? You can teach your sons correct principles. My eyes immediately opened, and I said, I'm very interested. And so we started a charitable foundation. My sons and my daughter are the board of directors. We will have a discussion about things we should donate to and ideas, and they actually choose the things that we donate to. The one aspect we've added recently is sometimes it's easy to give other people's money away. And I told my sons, Jade and Gabe, that to be real philanthropists, you must sacrifice your own money. And that night they decided they would donate a portion of their money in addition to the money that was coming from the foundation. And that way it gives the opportunity for them to learn correct principles, to grow and develop, and if they are worthy of their priesthood, they can then handle the inheritance and continue to do good.
Okay, so there he is with the two-letter word, if. And that's probably what this whole podcast should be called, if. If my kids do exactly what I tell them to do, then I'll help them. Then I'll show them I love them. If they obey me, if they obey, all of these rules that we have been, now we're finding out so many times that it's just some guy's idea, some guy's opinion, but yet we're taking it as God's ultimate say on a commandment. But yeah, and also notice that he says, I was really stressed out about this. I was just going to give all my money to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Like, why them? Why is that who you're going to give your money to? Okay. Looking at the comments here. Let's see. Mormon Satan. Making difficult choices is tough when the foundation of your ethical code is obedience. Best to prevent your kids from having to make difficult choices. Yeah. Isn't 10% enough? No, it's not. That's why we have a whole section of the church website that is encouraging these older people, the same people that will take out a home equity loan just to pay their tithing. These are the people that are finding this type of video. All right, so I think he just said if. Oh, hey, Sarah, thanks for joining us. Yes, this is so sad what the church teaches now. 10%'s not enough. So this guy just went through, if my kids obey me, then I'll bless them. Then I'll give them. I think he just said if again before I hit pause. So let's see what else his conditions are.
They exercise their agency contrary to my beliefs, then the option is that that entire inheritance can still go to the church.
So he just said it again. If they exercise their agency or whatever contrary, then all of my inheritance will go to the church. I mean, this is friggin' blackmail. That's what this is. You will do, and this guy's probably got his own frickin' airplanes. You will do what I tell you, or you will get jack shit. He's just following God's example, is what Daisy May says. As taught by the church. Yep. It is manipulation. Oh, let's see. Oh, yeah. Serve multiple senior missions and gift the church your estate. It's that simple. All right. Let's see. Maybe they'll bring it all home in the closing couple minutes here. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt.
What I want most for my family is for them to be happy. I want them to be...
Wait, I got to stop that again. What I want most for my family is for them to be happy. Okay. Do you believe that? Do you believe that that is what she wants most? I can speak from my own experience that is, that's not, I don't want to get too detailed, but yeah. Okay. She does want them to be happy, but do you believe that her children are allowed to determine what that happiness looks like? No, not a chance. Let's continue. Hold on. Daisy May says, I bet her kids would be happy if she were proud of them, regardless of their standing in the church. We ought to keep that comment up this whole time, because you are absolutely right. Watching this is like being rage baited. All right, let's, yeah, she wants control. This is Satan's plan according to the church. That's what she wants. She wants to control the children, and they are setting up this trust apparently in a way that they could even control them even after they are gone, maybe? I don't know much about the states and all this. But let's continue this awesome video.
Be kind to each other and to all those around them. I want them to look out for others' needs and be helpful.
When I grow up, I want to be like my dad because he's just a really great guy, and I think that the Lord has blessed him with the ability to find people who are in need. Most of the stuff that we do as humanitarians is to help other people.
It's really not what you give, it's what you do to help people.
My dad's already put me and my brother on that path, but I certainly hope that when I grow up, I will be successful because of the stuff that he's teaching me now.
I mean, what can I say? I have always wanted to be like my dad too. He got his Eagle Scout, so did I. He went on a mission, so did I. He got married in the temple, so did I. He served and never missed a day of church, and so did I. And there finally came a time when I realized that I am my own person, and I cannot live for someone else anymore. I love my dad. There's 1,000 qualities that I emulate and that I want in myself, but having this entire goal being, I want to be just like my dad, you know, these kids are young, and I get it, but that doesn't last for long. I mean, I do want the good qualities of my dad, and I always will, but I also recognize I am my own person. Okay, let's keep going.
Everything we do, our Charitable Foundation, our service work, is hopefully to help teach my sons how to become better human beings and to become more like their Heavenly Father, so that as they continue to progress on this journey, their ultimate goal is to return home safe to their Heavenly Father.
Get with it.
I've said it before, and I'll say it again. This life is not a destination. This life is a journey. And that journey is the process of becoming like our Heavenly Father. To possess those traits, those values, and those characteristics that make Him what He is. And I believe we have a responsibility to pass along those values and do the best we can to pass them along to our children. Because they were His children long before they were ours. I know my family's not perfect. We have a long ways to go on our journey, but I feel confident that we're on the right path.
All right, that's and they walk off into the sunset. Okay, so that is the video that, according to my research, which has been, you know, pulling it up on one site, it says that that it was only active for 24 hours. So apparently somebody decided, you know what, that video maybe doesn't come across right. And they're right, it doesn't. It comes across as manipulative, as conditional, and as assholey. That's how it comes across. Okay. So, you know, I titled this episode, you know, Inheritance. But it's actually not really about that. And I've done that a couple times. I uploaded something about abortion, but I really didn't talk about abortion. I talked about whether or not we recognize what the church leaders say as actual instruction from God. That's what it's about, and that's really what this is about too. Because basically what we're seeing here is in this guy's opinion and from his perspective, my kids are not their own people. They will be making mistakes if they don't choose exactly what I want for them. And what I want for them is what the brethren have told me, right? So that's really what it's about. And so I wrote something that I wrote a long time ago, which about a year ago, was this how I fundamentally disagree with my church. And so I started off by saying, you might want to become familiar with this Mormon message, and I'm not going to play it right now. It's triggering, but it's about the currant bush. You guys probably can even hear, I think, Christofferson's voice talking about the currant bush. And the whole point of the video is that there's a gardener, and he keeps cutting this bush to make it into what he wants it to become. You know, and so I had said in what I wrote that, you know, this, you know, basically my condensed version was sacrifice who you are for who God wants you to be. And I said on the surface, you know, it's a nice thought. Not anything inherently wrong with it, but upon closer look, there's some major problems. Who does God want us to be? Does he truly want us to be the best version of ourselves, or does he want us to be someone else? If we need correction, who is authorized to give such correction? Could that correction be seated in an individual's personal biases? Could the correction be false, wrong, or even harmful? And so I kind of, was just pointing out that it's not the church's position to cut and continually shape people. That people are individuals, and we're not all destined to be the same thing. These are the things that I'm realizing as my eyes are being opened, and I'm seeing that there's so much harm in some of the ways that the church has taught us. And you see that exact same thing in this video with this dad and his family. So I want to go ahead and share this poem from my daughter. Basically what she said, this was her take on how that whole analogy of the currant bush and the gardener continually cutting it and shaping it to become what he wants them to be. This was her take on it. And you tell me if this sounds a little bit more like what a loving and a true and loving God would want. All right, this is just beautiful. All right, this is by Kaylee Jean Daniels. The mighty currant bush. I found myself in a garden blooming exactly where I was planted. As small as a mustard seed I began, and then something greater branching up and up toward the heavens. I bore no berries, no blossoms. My purpose was different, but just as great as those fruit-filled, flowering trees soaking in sun all around me. I'm not going to stop because she does a great job of explaining. The day the gardener came, I stretched myself tall and wide, proud of what I had achieved and all that I had become. And the time he left me alone to grow. But his eyes looked upon me, and he sighed, and he set to cutting me down till I was nothing but a stump. I was too tall, he grumbled, too bold. My leaves cast shadows upon his other creations, those that better fit his mold. I did not conform to his grand design, so he cut me down. My aims were too loud for the quiet purpose he had planned, so he destroyed me. But that was years ago, and his garden is in ruin now. And I'm growing unchained, free of those rigid rules and expectations. I'm making such wonderful progress amid the chaos, and I patiently await the day that I'll see my gardener again. And he'll accept me as I am, not as his sheep shears force me to be. He'll look at me, towering above him with a smile upon his face, and he'll say, "You, my mighty currant bush, are perfect. Just the way you are." What a glorious day that will be. Well, I feel like that dude on that video. Oh, he's crying when the cameras are on. But no, all of my daughter's poems really just show me how blessed we are to have our eyes opened and to be on this side of things. No longer do we have to live our lives for that inheritance, whether money in this life or the things to come in heaven. No longer do we have to do that, because our eyes have been opened and we know that if there is a God, and I believe there is a creator of some sort, that's not what he wants. He wants us to be ourselves and to be the best friggin' version of ourselves that we can be, and not to constantly cut ourselves and mold ourselves to be someone else. That is what this man wants from his children. And the way that I take it, his daughter probably was that. She was becoming her own person. And she's not in the video. Apparently they have nothing to do with her. They've cut her out and said, oh, wow, we really screwed up with her. She gets nothing. We'll start this, this fund with our boys. Yes, we see it clearly now. She is loved songs. Yeah, it's not a new video that we've, however, how long it's been around, I don't know. But the teaching has been around for a long time. All right. So if we've been going for 52 minutes, if there's anybody that wants to come in the studio and share anything along these lines, you can also do it voice only. You're welcome to. I don't have a whole lot more about this topic. I think it's a disgrace that as far as this inheritance and stuff, that the church is making it so easy. I mean, there's a whole portion of the website dedicated to that. Yet we don't see as much effort being put into abuse or abuse victims or things like that. But you can bet your bottom freaking dollar that when it comes to if someone wants to give the church their patent, let's make it really easy for them to do it. Unless you guys have anything else to contribute, we are getting snowed in, so I'm probably gonna go live later, just because I enjoy it. That's one of the things I did enjoy of being at church is being with like-minded people, and I learn and so this is a great opportunity for me to connect with you guys and definitely learn just as much from you. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It is a total disgrace that the church is asking for people's estate money. Yeah, that's what they're doing. Let me check in with Diamond Dave. He's coming to the studio.
What's up, guys? How you doing?
Hey, Dave, your audio sounds better. It was a little loud last time I had you in. Somebody was saying, oh, he's too loud.
Oh, really? I have not changed the settings,
Oh, okay.
so that's probably just one of those stupid internet connection things.
No worry. Dave, what's your take on the
I have
church making it?
So many takes on this. So on the one hand, I do agree with you. The church should be focusing on abuse and things like that. But on the other hand, if someone genuinely wants to give away their stuff to the church, I personally don't care. They're dead. Like, what are they going to do with it is kind of my thinking if I was in that situation. I got a house and I got a car. Why do I care what happens to it when I'm gone? I do think the dynamic of what people were talking about, like the conditional love in the chat, was kind of interesting related to that, because I brought up the observation that they look like they're military to me. Like the father looks like he's either current military or has served in the military. And from my own observational experience as well as personal lived experience, having growing up in a military family. Unconditional love isn't really a thing, even outside of the church.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And so I'm trying to get a gauge on what factors are at play here, right? Is it the church and him being military? Is it him just taking the military culture and then slapping the church's teachings on it? What the difference is.
That's interesting thought. There may be a military aspect to it. However, in a personal situation, and also the person that I mentioned at the beginning of this, of someone that I know, there's no military ties. It's just simply, I don't want to live, it was this same idea. I don't want my money to ruin, and he has a lot, to ruin my kids. I'm just going to give it to the church,
Yeah. I can see that logic, because we see a lot of people, even outside of the church, do it. Jackie Chan is a noticeable, one. There's a lot of very wealthy celebrities and wealthy people who want their kids to work for what they have and to appreciate what they have, as opposed to just them inheriting hundreds of millions of dollars and then just going off the rails. You know what I mean? So
Right.
I can at least appreciate the logic behind it. I think what makes it a bit more harmful is that there's the religious aspect into play, right? Because what we're talking about in this limited conversation right now is just basic finance and inheritance of kids. But when you add in the church dynamic of having a temple recommend, and you have to do all these things to be worthy in order to get the inheritance, that's when I personally believe that is a manipulation tactic, personally. So
Yeah. So Wayne is pointing out that it's you almost get the multi-level marketing type stuff where it's like, oh, you get the highest degree if you do this, and the middle degree if you do that, and all these different levels. And then Kat points out that interesting that the parents say they messed up with their daughter, but instead of rectifying it, they're just punishing her for their mistake.
yeah, that I don't agree with. I actually did point out on other channels that I am highly of the opinion that the three-tiered church that Wayne mentions, it's really just a watered-down caste system. Because if you look at the heavenly kingdoms, what's a member going to tell you? Well, that is how close people are to God, and they choose to be in that, in that kingdom, as well as how they live their life now is how valiant they were in the primordial existence, right? Well, if you ask someone who's a Hindu about the caste system, it is literally the same thing. There's just more to it.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that the church is set up this way. I think it's a feature, not a bug. At the end of the day, it's all designed to be this way. It's not an accident.
Right. Well, I know that a lot of people aren't familiar with this whole aspect of the church. It's not talked about a lot. I had sent this video that we played to a friend earlier today, and she had actually sent me, she's like, oh my gosh, did you know that there's this whole philanthropy thing? And I'm like, yeah, but have you seen that video? And I sent it to her, and she says, oh my gosh. So, I don't know. I don't like the manipulation. I don't like putting this stuff in front of old people who aren't exactly with it. Of course, it's their money, all that kind of thing. They can do what they want. But
this video was just really, really cheesy. Like, I can appreciate and respect someone who wants to, help their church when they pass on. And I see there is a beauty in that to me. The problem is when people who think they're helping make kind of like videos like these, it just comes off weird to the outsider looking in.
Well,
and I'm just like, look, if that's what you feel you want to do, I totally support it. If you want to give your inheritance to the church instead of your own kids because you think your wealth is going to make them go off the rails, more power to you. I don't object to that. But it's a video, I don't know, kind of weird to me.
So Cultural Hall's in the chat. Culture, we just did a hate watch. I don't know if you caught it, but I learned that from you, the best. And we hate watched a video that the church put out, but basically encouraged families to deny giving their kids anything unless they are temple recommend holders and magnifying their priesthood. So, oh yeah, well, welcome, Culch. It was quite the video. It was only up apparently on the church website for 24 hours before it was taken down. I guess that at least shows that somebody recognizes that that video didn't quite, accomplish what they were hoping to do. So, all right. Well, if anyone else wants to sound off on some thoughts regarding this whole thing about giving church money and inheritance and things like that, you're welcome to join us. The link's in the chat. But I think my takeaway is kind of with songs that all of this sort of fits into a prosperity gospel idea. That it's a constantly dangling the carrot, in front of you, like, don't. Oh, the other aspect to this I did want to bring out was this whole the whole thing where BYU is cracking down on liberal professors. This has been in the news the past few days, and basically they're doing the same thing that this man is doing to his kids. BYU, and there was this whole thing with Clark Gilbert, and John DeLynn did a whole 2 hours on it, so I can't do it justice, but basically saying, if you guys don't walk the line and do exactly what and not only you guys, meaning guys and girls, you professors, but they said, and your spouse has to be active too, and if not, you can get the boot, and they're starting to crack down on this. So it's the constant dangling the carrot in front of you. Do exactly what do exactly what we tell you, or you're not going to get the prize, whether it's the inheritance or your job at BYU or the celestial friggin' kingdom. All right, let's see what Ashley said, because somebody said, Ashley, you're so right. Let's see. My problem is people that give to church often think the church is using money to help others. Yes.
I kind of want to push back on that a little bit with anecdotal evidence, because I live in Provo and there's a lot of people who are Mormon here. I have lost count of how many people I have heard who are members and who will blatantly say to your face, yeah, I donate more to the church just because I want the tax write-offs. Like, and I mean, I'm not judging that, because as someone who works in the field of finance, I like tax write-offs too. So, I'm going to be donating to a lot of charities. But I've been hearing a lot of members of various ages just being like, even YSA kids who are just like, yeah, I don't really know where the money goes, but I get to write it off. So,
yeah. So, as far as what Coach says here, he's kind of agreeing with you, and I don't have no problem with somebody doing whatever they want with their money, obviously. My problem is when and if they want to give it to the church, fine. But if it's I'm going to give it to the church and not my family because they didn't follow exactly what I taught them, I have a lot of problem with that. And that's really what this hour episode has been about. Yep. It's the manipulation. It's using power and influence to force somebody to choose a certain thing, instead of more like what my daughter's poem was, which is, you be you. You be the best version of you, and I'm here to support you. And I wish I could tell all about some of our personal struggles with that, but
I do have a question. Since you were a bishop, you've had to deal with that personally, right? At some point, of people donating inheritance to church? How, first of all, how does that work?
Yeah, I've never dealt with that. The only thing that was similar was a family that came in, and it was an inheritance, and they donated $20,000 to the Ward Mission Fund, and they wanted it to stay there, and they indicated everywhere they could that they wanted it in the ward, and I'm 99% sure that the church, after I was released, that the church siphoned it out, and it's probably put a couple panels on the roof of the mall or something. I don't know.
Gotcha. The reason why I'm asking is I'm curious about the process, because before I got into the corporate field I am in now with transaction analysis, I used to be a branch banker, and one of the things we had to look out for is elder abuse or manipulation of trust funds, wills, and things like that. So I'm curious as to how, or if like someone has a will, right? Does a member of the church like coach them, or how is that process started and finished? And
yeah,
because I would think they'd have to be very, very careful to not like even give the perception of going down that route, just from a legal financial standpoint.
Yeah, that's all good questions. All I can say is if you go to the website where I was sharing earlier, all of those things are addressed.
Okay.
So registering a will, we're going to give you all of the tools that you would need to be able to give us as much as you can. So
okay, it's just auto uploaded then. The individual does it. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know much other than that. I've never received any training or anything on that. But yeah, the church has made sure that it's all right there. Anytime somebody has a thought about signing over their patent, I thought the patent was so stupid. It's like, you're gonna donate a patent to the church.
I'm genuinely curious on what, if anything, the church could do with the patent practically. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Let's see. There's a couple other comments. I'm not sure what is your source for the 1% was. Less than 1%. Yeah, I missed a conversation there. Okay, so Ruth says they donate less than 1%. Okay, so someone's saying, well, the church does donate a lot of money to charity, and then Ruth says, well, they donate less than 1%. Yes, I have seen. I'm not prepared with slides and data, but I have seen that if you go, there was a time that the church jumped greatly in their donations. And it was the time that this started coming out. Mm-hmm. Up until then, they were giving like less than 1% of what they started giving then. And again, I don't have the details on that right now, but suffice it to say, for a $200-something billion, company, we give very little, but that very little is still a big number.
It's a lot of money, and I think when it comes to like percentages as opposed to dollar amounts, when it's percentages, things can get lost in translation, because especially when it's financial donations overseas, right? So if the church donates $1 million to somewhere in the U.S., right, that's one thing. If the church donates $1 million to Nigeria, that is a lot of buying power. That is an astronomical part of buying power just because of the currency conversion. So it also depends on where that money is.
Okay. Well, I want to couple more comments. My father always loved and served the church more than his family, a common Mormon thing. Sorry to hear that, Blackbirds. And then Grant says, I have to go to my uncle's funeral tomorrow. I'm dreading it so much. Mormon funerals are so depressing and awful if you no longer believe in the brainwashing. You know, I think we'll go ahead and conclude this topic. Dave, I'll let you go.
Cool. Real quick before you do, I just want to say you're a pretty good streamer. I like it. I like it. That's why I come in to hang out with you. We may not agree on everything, but having been a streamer since 2018, I love it.
Well, I'm new to this stuff. I said earlier, that is what I miss about the church, is just, you know, having a larger family like this to learn. I don't have to agree with, you know, everything someone says, and we may not, but I value your opinion and invite you anytime I'm on to join me, and appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, Dave, we'll talk to you in a bit.
I will, Cultural Hall. I will rate you. Trust me. All right, see you guys. Bye.
All right. So, guys, once again, you know, some of this might have seemed a little bit nitpicky. The bigger picture, you know, and I know that my thumbnail was about inheritance. My bigger picture, oh yeah, Ruth says Nathan and I are going on later. Yes, we have some fun things to discuss with Ruth, and it's still snowing, so I'm probably just gonna do this today, but. The bigger picture in my mind of this whole topic is this whole idea that we need to be somebody else, that who we are is not good enough. It's not good enough for maybe sometimes our spouse, maybe our parents, for the church, you know, and for God. And since stepping away from the church, I have learned, and I was part of the problem before because I preached the same stuff, but I have learned that there's so much beauty in individuality. Now, I'm not going to say that across the board, that every single, you know, no matter what, everything that someone decides to do is a good thing. I recognize that someone can make decisions that harm them, and that's probably not the best thing. But when I say harm them, I'm not talking about because they can no longer qualify for a temple recommend. You know, I'm talking about harm them in the sense that they, you know, are physically hurt or addicted, or, you know, or whatever. But in the end, to me, it is about being the best version of yourself. And if someone wants to prune you and cut you and shape you to become something else, and then dangle the carrot in front of your face and say, "Here, you get this. If you just continue to do everything I say," that's wrong and it's shameful. Guys, thanks for joining me. I'm gonna get with Ruth, and we have something else to talk about later today, hopefully. If not, it'll be soon. But thanks for joining me. These are my thoughts, and a beautiful poem by my daughter. She has a lot of excellent writings. I love the stuff that she's written, and it just puts things in a whole beautiful perspective. And so thanks a lot, and hope to see you guys soon. Take care.